451, turn left heading 060, expedite.
Hollywood tells us it's the ultimate high-pressure job.
Jazz 144, thanks, turn right heading 020.
But for Kendra Kincade,
All these little targets, they're all the different airplanes.
directing traffic on highways in the sky is the best job in the world.
I just walked in the building and I just went, this is it, this is what I want to do. And I kept chasing that dream.
Kendra was in her 20s and a mother of 4 when she decided to pack up her family and move to Ontario to train for the job.
There was lots of stories from back home of people who said, I was crazy and I was never going to make it.
But Kendra excelled. Her professional life took off until a bad accident and divorce left her battling depression. She found her therapy fulfilling a little girl's dream through the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
When that little girl saw the hot tub, oh, that was it. Changed my life. Life's not about me, it's about other people, and it's about doing what you can do to help other people.
She then set her sights higher, joining a climb team on Mount Kilimanjaro to raise money for the Royal Alex Hospital, getting creative to meet her fundraising goal.
Right beside me, Calgary Terminal Works, and there was a girl that was working there, and I asked her, if I did a calendar, would you be in it? And she said yes. And then 11 other amazing, courageous air traffic controllers said they'd be in this calendar, and it sold out in 2 weeks, and we raised $10,000.
That's how Kendra founded Elevate Aviation,
We talked to the tower.
raising awareness about the opportunities for women in her industry and providing support through scholarships and mentoring.
Air Canada 297, proceed direct Lumsden.
We have a mentorship program that if somebody wants to be a pilot or someone wants to be a flight attendant, an air traffic controller, an aircraft mechanic, they can call us and we will set them up with a person who is already in that job.
Hi, my name is Kendra Kincade and I am here in Waiua in El Salvador, and I am part of an organization called Changing Stories.
The 2014 calendar raised money for a playground in El Salvador, and this year's edition is supporting the Lois Hole Hospital for Women.
And we want to get women into jobs, and they keep women healthy. And so it's a circle. And we think it's a really good circle for us to be together.
A circle made stronger by the belief that everyone has the power to create a new destiny.
What I've learned is it actually is possible to do whatever you want. It's possible. You just have to imagine it and then go after it.
Please welcome Kendra Kincade.
Thank you. Sorry about the video, you guys. It was a little lagging there, but anyway, thank you for having me. I'm so appreciative of Trish for asking me if I wanted to come and talk about Elevate Aviation, and of course I said yes, I want to come and talk about Elevate Aviation. I want to talk about our volunteers and how amazing they are and what they're doing. So I'm going to talk to you about Elevate, and especially after the last people that were up here, I have something to say about that later on, but it might take us past our time, so we'll see. First I want to tell you a little bit of a story about how Elevate Aviation came to be. So when I was 13 years old, I ran away from home. And like some people who run away from home, they go back. I did not. I stayed out and I lived on the streets for a little while. And I remember living under this old abandoned hospital. And I remember it being really cold and really dirty, and there was this ledge, and I would crawl under there, and I would crawl up to the cement wall, and that's where I would sleep. And so many times I remember being hungry. That was my biggest memory of that time, is being starving and having hunger pains and wondering how on earth am I actually going to get it through the night and wake up in the morning with these hunger pains. But while I was in that time, I also remember thinking, I do not want my life to stay this way. The problem was, I didn't know how to change it. And I know a lot of us sometimes end up in a place in their life and they want to do something different, they want to be someone different, they want to try new things, but they don't know how to get there. I'm sure some of you maybe at some point have had that in your life, and you just don't know how to get to that next point. And that's where I was. I just didn't know how to get out of where I was. So fast forward through a little bit, and I lived in the foster care system, And the family had 4 kids, and a lot of kids coming and going through the foster care system. And when you live in that kind of environment, for me anyway, you don't have a lot of self-esteem, you don't have a lot of confidence, you don't have a lot of love for yourself, if any. And so I made a lot of poor choices in my life. And a lot of them were the men that I brought into my life. So fast forward again a little bit more, and now I'm divorced with my 4 kids. And it was a very, very bad divorce. I won't go into it. There was abuse involved. And I was in a very, very, very bad place in my life. I was very depressed. I spent a couple of years basically just taking care of things to make things happen for my kids, lying on the couch, not wanting to get off, drinking when I could just to not think. And I spent a couple of years like that, and I knew I had to do something different. I either had to change what I was doing, or I had to end. That's the point where I was at in my life. And so I thought, I have 4 kids. I now have 2 grandkids, but I have 4 kids, and I have to do something different with my life. So I sat in front of the computer and I started Googling what to do when you're depressed. And I stumbled across a volunteer list. So I started going through this volunteer list, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation caught my eye. Now, is there a Make-A-Wish in the States? Yes. Okay, I wasn't sure. So the Make-A-Wish Foundation, as we know, grants wish to kids who are terminally ill. And so I thought, okay, I'll go and try that. I knew a friend before I met her, her son had gone through this program. It just caught my eye, and I thought, okay, I'll go and try this Make-A-Wish thing. So I went into the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I sat through their orientation, not wanting to be there, just wanting to be back on my couch under my blanket. And I sat through the orientation. And they started giving out wishes. And they said in this orientation, make the wish as big and as grand, like think outside the box, and make this wish huge. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they started giving out wishes. They were giving out, like, Disney World, they wanted to meet a princess, wanting to go meet a superstar like Justin Bieber, and they were giving out these wishes. And of course, I was sitting at the back of the room, and so I was the last one to get my little envelope with the wish, and I'm like, okay, so I open it up, and I'm like, a hot tub. This little girl wants a hot tub. I'm like, why couldn't I get the Disney princess? I could do that. So I thought, a hot tub? What am I going to do with a hot tub? So I went home, and over the weeks following, I went and met the family, and I really thought about this hot tub, and I thought, what can I do with this hot tub? And I thought, well, I can bring pizza. I thought, okay, if we're going to have pizza, I should bring cake. And I thought, okay, and this thought process went on for a little while, and I started thinking about more and more things that I could do for this kid, for this hot tub. And so before we knew it, it was the day to deliver the hot tub. And we had a huge parade. We had volunteers with balloons. We had 2 police cars. We had food. We had cake. We had fire trucks. We had the hot tub in the middle. We had firemen to fill up the hot tub, which was the best idea. And so we had this big parade. The mayor named the day after her. It was this incredible day. So we have this big parade, and we're going down the road. And there's a bend in the road, and then there's her house. And this is all pre-planned, that the mom is going to push her out. She's in a wheelchair. And the mom's going to push her out to come out and see the parade. She gets the call, we're on our way. Get ready. And so we're all walking, and I'm in the front with the volunteers that are walking with the parade behind us. And we're walking, and we turn around the bend, and I see her house. And I'm watching, and all I see is her house, and I'm staring at the front door. And I'm staring at the front door, and we are getting closer, and then the door opens. And I see the wheelchair being pushed out, and the mom pushing the wheelchair out. And I'm just staring at her. And we're coming closer, and I'm watching her, and I'm watching this smile on her face as she sees this big parade come down. And people are coming out from all over the street to find out what is going on. What's this big parade in our little town? And we get to the point where she's down to the road, and we're coming up, and I'm watching her. I'm just staring at her face. And I see the moment that changed my life. I see the moment when she sees the hot tub, and her face the most joy I have ever seen on anyone's face was when she saw the hot tub and realized this was her wish. This little girl was dying and all she wanted was a hot tub. And the moment she saw that she got this hot tub, it totally changed my life. Two things happened to me in that moment. The first thing was that I realized that I could make anything I visualized in my head come true. I realized that I didn't have to be a reactor to life and be busy reacting to everything that was happening to me in my life. I could actually set goals and dare to dream my dreams and make them happen. The second thing was that life is not about me. It was about helping other people. And when I saw the joy on her face, that was the happiest I had ever been in my entire life. Please don't tell my children that because they think it's the day they were born. But it was that moment that changed my life. From then on, I realized that I don't have to be depressed, and it's not all about me. It's not about poor me, you know, this is happening to me. When you get out of that and you actually do something for someone else, it totally changes your life. And so I haven't stopped since. And what a journey it's been ever since that. It's been incredible. So the next thing that happened was I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with a local hospital to raise funds for this local hospital. And to do that, I had to raise $5,000 to be part of that journey. I had to pay my own way, but I had to raise $5,000 for the hospital. I'm a single mom. I'm like, okay, I've sold like chocolate almonds. That's like the most I've ever done for fundraising. And so I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I'm sitting at work. I had already signed up to this trip because now I'm a yes girl. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. So I sign up for this trip and I'm sitting at work and I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to raise $5,000? I hate asking people for money. And Calgary Terminal works right beside me. It's an airport in Edmonton. There's Edmonton, or in Alberta. There's Canadian people know this. So Calgary Terminals worked right beside Edmonton Terminal. And there was one girl that works there. She's still the only female that works there. We need to get some more women into that sector. But I said, if I did a calendar, I know this is crazy. There'll be no bikinis involved. Would you be in it? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, you would? Yeah. So this calendar was made. We had letters telling us not to do this calendar from people in our building and from people outside our building. My company, NavCanada, when the Global News wanted to come in and do some news, my company said, do not say you work for NavCanada. And I was like, okay, I get it. But there were people who believed in what we were doing, and we pushed forward. So that was the calendar. We raised $10,000 with that calendar. Up we went to Mount Kilimanjaro. That team itself raised $1 million, but my little 10,000 was the contribution to it. But it was big for me at the time. So fast forward a little bit longer, and now I'm out there and I'm doing my own thing. I'm believing in myself, believing that I can make change in this world. And I decided to start an organization that takes people to Central America to build projects. And so I thought, well, let's do another calendar. So this was a couple years later. It was during the second calendar that I realized that we were bringing people together, because the first one was all air traffic controllers. The second one, I literally went out and knocked on doors. Excuse me, is there a female ramp agent that works here that might want to be in a calendar? I got some really strange looks. Excuse me, do you know a pilot that that might want to be in a calendar? So it took a lot of effort. We did that second calendar, but these women in the second calendar became friends. And some of them are best friends today. And some of them told me that they don't work with any other women. So we knew that something was happening here, but we didn't know what. And I didn't know what to do with it at all. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. But now the calendar is an arm of what we're doing. This is the last one we're going to do. We're moving on to something different, which I'm excited to announce in the fall. But this calendar has now turned into a nonprofit organization, which I will tell you about now. So Elevate Aviation, basically we're out raising awareness for women for aviation, and the women who are inside aviation, we're trying to bring them together and educate them and help them and support them to follow their dreams and do what they want to do inside the aviation industry. Because we know a lot of women who want to get ahead, and I'm hearing all kinds of stories from all over Canada of how they're being blocked. And so we're trying to help change that. So this is the calendar. That middle picture is what the calendar was this year. If you see those pictures on the bottom, you see the little kids in there? This is our mentorship calendar. After all these years, we're finally finishing the calendar, and we're finally doing it right. But we have a little girl with every woman in their jobs, in their position, and we're so excited to launch this on October 20th. It's just incredible. So this helps us raise a little bit of money so we can keep doing what we're doing in the world. So we're really excited about this. These women come from all across Canada. We've had aerospace engineers, flight attendants, pilots. The military is involved. The military actually lets us use their military stuff in our calendar, which was a huge win for us and for the women in the military. So we profile stories. If you've ever gone onto our website or our Facebook page, we actually do stories on these women. I always wanted to be a reporter, and so now I get to play a reporter for my hobby. No. So basically we interview these women, and we create a 90-second to 2.5-minute story on each woman and profile their jobs. We profile the woman. We show from where they were born, what their family was like, what their hobbies are, into their career, and they talk about their career. The feedback we get from these stories is amazing. We get people who email us and say, I've always wanted to be an air traffic controller, but I thought I was too old, or I didn't know how. And we're like, we'll tell you how. Come on in. We'll tell you how, and we'll help you get there, and I'll tell you about that. Again, we're providing this community. We get people together, and this is building across Canada, and it's so exciting to see women supporting women. We have a rule that you are not allowed to talk about other women. We lift you up. We do not talk about you. If you have a problem with someone, you talk to them, or you can come and talk to someone else to talk it out, to figure out how to solve this, but we will not listen if you're going to talk about other women. We do tours across Canada. Now, some of you, I was listening to your questions earlier. This started because, I don't understand why people don't know about aviation careers, especially air traffic control. So it's time to do something about it, right? So we do cross-country tours. This started with 10 people in Edmonton. 10 people came to our first tour in Edmonton. Last year we went to 4 cities to try it out across the country. This year we went to 9 cities and had about 1,000 people. And next year we're hitting 20 cities. And what we do, they're full day tours. There's about 50 to 90 or 100 people at each tour. And they're a full day tour. We bring in speakers, so we're always looking for people who want to talk about their job, because we want you to get out there, especially if you're uncomfortable about it, because I really like pushing people. So if you're uncomfortable about talking, I really want to talk to you. But anyway, so we bring in speakers, military, civilian. They talk in the morning. We have lunch. And then we take them into the towers, we take them into air traffic control centers. We always take them to a hangar to get in an airplane and explore the airplane. We'll take them to an aircraft maintenance facility. We do all kinds of things with them. And the best thing is, in the morning I say, raise your hand if you're here because you love aviation. Nothing. Then I say, raise your hand if you're here because you want a free day off school. And they all raise their hand. At the end of the day, they're buzzing with excitement, and they're like, I want to be an air traffic controller, I want to be a flight attendant, I want to be an aerospace engineer, I want to be a helicopter pilot that goes to Afghanistan. Do you know, can anyone guess what the #1 job they want to be? Except for the people I've already told? No. A tower controller. Yeah, they get up into the tower and they all want to become tower controllers. We had a little, one of the other speakers, she was tower and I'm IFR, VFR and IFR. We had a little competition about, trying to get the kids more excited about our jobs. She won. I still think mine, she still thinks hers, but that's because we all love our jobs. But anyway, this is what these tours are. So we're so excited to get into 20 cities next year. And anyone wants to be a speaker, let me know. We have an empowerment program. This picture is up because I can't show you what the empowerment program is, but basically we go into facilities where women have been abused. And the one that we go into the most is, it's a 30-week program. It's called Lives in Transition. It's a 30-week program where they take people and they help them get their self-esteem back all the way to where they get references and they start looking for jobs. And we go in and share our story. We share a personal story, and then we talk about careers in aviation and possibilities that they can look at and think about. And it is our hope that there might be somebody that was like me or in a different situation that can actually change their life and have a good life. Because especially like there's a lot of single moms out there and they can't afford to look after their kids. And we're saying there are a ton of aviation careers that are available today looking for people. Consider aviation, and they don't even think about aviation. It's not even in their mind until we go in and we tell them there's careers that you can look at. So that's what we do with the empowerment program. Of course, we have speaking engagements. On top of our tours, we do speaking all over, and I love that this is spreading across Canada too. We've just been in a couple, Montreal and Ottawa. This past week, we've been in 3 different speaking engagements in the last week over there. And this is just growing. It's exciting. It's so exciting to get out and talk about the careers in aviation because people really need to hear about these. I don't need to preach that to you guys. You all know that. We do community events like air shows. We had a parade in the middle. We won an award for our float. We didn't mean to. We won for past, present, and future, but we didn't mean to. It's just we had little kids, adults, and older adults all on the float. It was so by mistake we won an award, but that's anyway. We do bursaries. This is just growing for us. When I get back home on Friday, we are honoring Yvonne Bomey, who is the first female air traffic controller in the Edmonton Centre. We're naming a bursary after her, and so it's a $2,000 bursary that we're going to give out. And go ahead. Oh, like a scholarship. Yeah, sorry. Money. We're giving out money. So we're so excited to do that. The Edmonton International Airport has just come on board to give us a bursary through them. So we're like, excellent. So we're going to try to promote this as well and try to get some more money flowing in. So history was made by our little Elevate Aviation in Florida this past month. We were in an article in the States, and someone contacted us and said, there's an international maintenance engineer, aerospace maintenance competition, and they invited us to come down. There had never been an all-female team down there. And I was like, yes, we'll be there, we'll come. And so we made history along with United Airlines and Pratt & Whitney and Elevate Aviation from Canada were the 3 teams that had the first all-female teams there. And I want to tell you something about this. When I was watching the live Facebook feed of the men working on the engines and everything else, I was like, that's cool. It's not for me. That's just not something that I'm interested in, but we're trying to promote it for women. But then when I saw our team working on the engines, I was like, that's actually really cool. Like, I would like to try that. Like, if you watch these girls, like they're racing, trying to get this done, and I'm like, that is so cool. And it really dawned on me that, I mean, I knew this, but it really hit home when I saw this, that's why we have to get the face of women out there more. Because when women see women working in these fields, they want to do it. Right? Like, this actually sparked an interest in me, not that I'm changing careers, but to be an AME. And that's why we really need to get the face of women out there more. We have a mentorship program. So I'm going to give you an example of our air traffic control mentorship program. We bring people in. So we get out there and we show awareness and we're like, this is what we do. This is air traffic control. If they want to come in, we have people set up across the country. And we'll bring them in. They come in for an hour and a half to 2 hours. They get a tour all around the building, and then they actually sit and plug in with an air traffic controller for an hour and watch them work. And then after that, if we tell them how the hiring process goes, and we help them with all that kind of thing. If they still want to be an air traffic controller after watching for an hour, we then set them up with another mentor, and that person helps them with you have to write an ITA exam, which is, you have to basically study for 6 weeks before your first day of class. It helps with that because there's so many people that, we're getting people outside of aviation to come in, so they don't know NDBs and VORs and all these terms that, well, those ones are going away, but ADSB and all that kind of stuff. So we have a mentor that sticks with them. They go for coffee. Sometimes you're on a very long wait list before you get into ATC, if you get in. And they keep connected so they don't feel all alone out there. And then there's a Thrive program with NavCanada, and they go in through the Thrive program with NavCanada, which is a mentorship program that NavCanada has. And our mentor stays on the side and is there for them if they ever need it. And a lot of them become friends. We are starting our master mentorship class coming up, and this is for our mentors. So if you're a mentor with us, we want you to be the best darn mentor you can be. And so we are actually inviting professionals to come in and talk on things like leadership, facing your fears, all kinds of things that you need being a CEO, what's that like, what did it take to get there. We're having an online mentorship class to help people learn and grow, and then in return, they give that back, right? So we're really excited about this online mentorship class. So the last thing is, I cannot tell you what this is. It is a secret, but on May 4th, we have an exciting announcement that I think you guys will all actually, especially after listening to the panel, I just wish I could tell you all, but if anyone wants to watch our Facebook Live on May 4th, there's an official announcement that's happening that's going to help us change, hopefully help us change some of the stats in aviation. You have to watch. I really want to tell. I'm like, but anyway, just watch and just if you do watch that and you have feedback you want to give us for the project that we're about to embark on, please connect with me, because I want as much advice as we can to embark on what is going to be a 3-year project. So I am going to leave you guys with my favorite quote: life begins at the end of your comfort zone. This is when my life began, when I got outside my comfort zone, and I just want to leave you guys all with that. Thank you.